All right, everybody, let's get started. On the agenda, we just added a new, item on the first page, is public comment on agenda items. Going forward, there'll be a 2-minute time limit per individual. So if I do say, this is open to the public for comment, those 2 minutes are gonna be used for new information on the topic, not to reiterate old information. You can follow up with some older information and ties into the new, but we don't wanna hear the same discussion over and over. It's not conducive to time and to others that may wanna speak. Thank you.
Let's do the minutes first.
Yeah. Yep. Next on the agenda are minutes. We're getting caught up. Thank you, Justin and others. So would someone like to make a motion, basically this side of the table, to approve the minutes of 7/22/24?
I'll make that motion.
Someone to second that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, thank you for getting us caught up as best you can over this side. Yeah. Request for certificate of compliance, none at this time. The next on the agenda is the enforcement orders that are ongoing. The first one is the sludge landfill. I understand that we had another breach out there on the 6th. Do you have any update for us?
After being notified at 1:30
Can you speak up a little bit?
Oh, yeah. After being notified on 1:30 p.m. Sorry.
Text one, sure.
Yeah. On Thursday the 6th, the agent was asked to go out to the sludge landfill, where did notice that a very extensive erosion event occurred due to a multitude of factors, including the high precipitation event and the lack of melting in a lot of the already existing BMPs that were on site. As a result, there was a lot of sediment and a little bit of sludge that made it past the outfall. Upon seeing the extensive erosion, I immediately called 3 separate individuals at the Cerro office for DEP, and I've just been waiting for correspondence back. They went out for a site visit today, but unfortunately I wasn't looped in on the email. So I'm just waiting on catch-up correspondence as per the best steps forward for our involvement, for helping find a solution to clean it up and to hopefully prevent it from happening again.
So we have an active enforcement order, so what are we doing from this point on? Are we gonna modify that enforcement order to include this latest breach, or what is DEP saying on that?
Because there is an active enforcement order, it will allow us to have the parties that are in charge of the sludge landfill conduct the work necessary to remedy the situation. So no new enforcement order has to be made, but we should probably plan on amending it in order to allow for it.
Who's taking pictures?
I am
Can you state your name, please?
Paul DeMail.
What's the use of them, Paul? What do you do with those? Where you posting them, I guess? I've never seen anyone take pictures in all these years, so I'm just kinda curious.
You're allowed to pay
I didn't say you couldn't, I'm just saying, where are they going?
for my record.
Okay. I'm not saying you can't, never saw it before, that's all. Okay, got me with the flash. So we can amend it, should we amend it to incorporate what happened on the 6th?
I would say so, yes, but yeah, I'm still waiting to hear from one representative of DEP as well.
Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, it's the 3rd time we've been out there. City has not taken proper steps to either fix or really clean it up properly, period. We have to find out why it's doing it in the way it is, and we need to remedy the cleanup. It's just unacceptable. And the fact that it snowed, big deal.
Yeah,
It snows every year, that means it wasn't done right. I'm not buying that.
Oh, I agree, just so the record,
Yeah.
David and I went out there and met Justin Thursday night, and we were pretty disappointed in what we saw. You did send pictures, you sent me a text, I was on my way, we met. Yeah, it's not a good scene out there, shouldn't have happened, I agree, there's been snow melt, agreed that it does snow in New England, I guess, right? And, we all encountered some good rain out there, what did you say the rain was?
About 1.7.
So-
Within the time span that.
And I did ask if the DPW was coming and they declined to attend,
Yeah, I asked,
what did you ask?
city engineer and the, DPW director.
I have a question.
Go ahead,
I'd like to request them to come.
I sent
I
them,
mean, but, so we gotta do more than that. That's unacceptable as well.
yeah, we want them to be at the 24th meeting.
That's,
Yeah. And then, by then, do you believe that DEP will have their findings and, what they observed on site by the 24th?
I would hope so,
They're
yeah.
usually pretty close to those dates, or, like, that's, what, 2 week turnaround?
I think that should be a sufficient timeline, yes.
And what have you been given for information from, DEP or from Viola since that occurrence for information?
Since the date of the occurrence, haven't gotten anything.
Okay. And we did talk to Viola while we were out there, David and I did, about just some best practices on how to maintain that back corner and, you know, some of the plowing and stuff, how that was plowed. And Dave, you were pretty far back too, right, in the woods there, and then you did on the second one on the way out. Anything else that you guys saw out there?
I mean, it went out quite a distance. I didn't have a tape, but
Yeah. How far out do you estimate that?
150 feet.
You think that much, huh? I couldn't obviously do it, but, how do you think it went out that far?
Approximately, yeah.
It's hard to tell, right?
Hard to tell, especially because some of that ice that's just under the water is also discolored as well, so.
Yeah. And have you gone out there since last Thursday?
I went there Friday when it cooled down and it was frozen again.
So it's all, but I'm sure it's all leaching again?
It's probably back to liquid at this point, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Can you take another ride out there tomorrow and just see what it looks like, especially on the top of the mound, and as it comes down, will they put that riprap?
Yeah.
What time you gonna go, cause I
Yeah,
wanna
please.
go, I'll go too.
Yeah, that.
What's a good time for you?
9:30?
Fine for me.
Then we had asked for the maintenance records a while back, like a month ago, and I still haven't received those. Can you just follow up with them? I'm gonna do the right thing and open it up for comment.
I just have one more
Oh,
thing.
sorry, go ahead.
To me, I'm more concerned with the fact that they're just putting Band-Aids on that.
Yep.
There's not been a real attempt to fix what's wrong with that site. There hasn't been. Taking sediment out of the stream is not fixing the problem. That's taking the Band-Aid off a little bit, or maybe putting a new one on. That's not fixing the problem. So we need to find plans to fix the problem and determine what's causing it.
I know at one point there was discussion on putting some type of a basin out there.
Correct.
We all agreed that would be a great idea to do and rectify the situation until a further action could be taken. And when we witnessed it, there was nothing, so I was kind of disappointed to see silt fence still holding back that much water. It's disappointing. So I'm gonna open it up for comment. Again, two minutes per person. Hold on. And again, new information, and we don't wanna repeat information back and forth to the same people. Just, state your points and your facts, and we'll put them on record. Go ahead, sir. Your name is?
I am Dave Ante, I live on 444 Stone Street, Gardner, and I kinda have more of a question, is that in lieu of this mess that the city is not taking care of, the sludge landfill, I was wondering if the Conservation Commission was planning to make any comments on the draft environmental impact report that the city submitted for the sludge landfill expansion. If they can't even take care of this, and they're gonna have an expansion of 8 acres, and they're taking out the esker, which is kind of a natural barrier to support an accident, say, and there's 2 vernal pools on the other side of that esker, and they have not commented on how they're gonna take care of it. So I'm asking if you're gonna, after this problem, seems to persist and they're not coming forward, is if you're going to make any comments on the impact report that has been submitted. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave, you got a few more seconds if you got anything else?
No,
Good?
I just wanted to ask that one. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? State your name now.
Alan Russo, 211 Bay Spring Road. I'm also a property abutter to the sludge landfill on the south. Got a couple of things to say. They're all about this most recent incident. I've got a brief handout for the commission.
Yeah, but
I'm just gonna read part of that. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, because some of it's Wetland Protection Act rules and regulations. But to the Gardner Conservation Commission members, I request that the Conservation Commission amend the Gardner Sludge Landfill Enforcement Order to fix the cause of the sedimentation of the BVW. I'll repeat, fix the cause of the sedimentation. All right, we have a detention area out there that's holding, it's not even working, it's failing. We've got precipitation and snow melt on the top of the sludge landfill in the containment area. The containment area that is not leaching down through and reaching the leachate system for some reason. And instead, it is rolling off the top, as we saw from the incident last Thursday. I was horrified when I saw that. I mean, I've seen erosion out there before, and it's been bad. But to see that black streaming down there was chilling to see that, because we know that sludge is biosolids, but it's also got PFAS chemicals, and it may have other dangerous chemicals within it. So, I'm not gonna read the paragraph on what that is, but I believe the Conservation Commission can go outside of the buffer area and require things to be done that are impacting it, okay? Second thing I wanna mention is this I sent you this 2024 sludge landfill inspection. It was just completed a couple of weeks ago. And I got this under a public records request to the DPW. And I'm gonna call you, there's good information in here about pooled water and stuff that you guys are looking at. I wanted you to have it. But I'm gonna call your attention to page 3, bullet point number 6. Now this is the 2024, so it covers all calendar last year. Sludge landfill, includes 6 inspections from the company that does this, plus comments at the beginning. And I'm gonna just read this sentence. Bullet point number 6, no operational problems or deficiencies were encountered or noted throughout the course of operations in 2024.
Thank you.
I mean, think about that statement. Nothing occurred, yet this operation out here has been under an enforcement order since October. How could this be on the report? So, something's wrong here. I think this operation needs an audit. I believe it is malfunctioning, this vertical expansion. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commission members.
Thank you, Alan. Anybody else wish to speak on the sludge landfill? Go ahead, Paul. State your name, please, for the record, Paul.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Paul Mayo, resident of Gardner. I'm happy to see the planning director here tonight. Al Russo and myself went out last Thursday morning after the rain and the meltdown to see what was going on over at the sludge landfill. Everything was documented with pictures. Those of you on the commission who I have emails, I sent that documentation. That is now public record, and we will keep that. EPA has been informed, Chief Legal Counsel for the New England Division, along with Rebecca Teppa, head of DEP, Worcester DEP, right down the line to everybody. All becomes part of public record, and here we are kicking the can down the road. This is the third major incident in how many years? And yet, neither the EPA, the DEP, or the local Concom want to come down hard
you know, there's no excuse why Dane Arnold has blown off this, Conservation Commission since November. He's the one that, told about the pond on the top, the breach of the dam, the failure of the dam. Who approved a dam and a pond on the top of the landfill? We have the photos. And that's been submitted as well. But, you know, Dane had come up with an idea about, some sort of a, detention basin, where everything would be captured and filtered out. But that would require a notice of intent. But there's been no upgrade to the stormwater management on this whole project since 1984, over 40 years. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak on the sludge landfill? No? Well, I wish they would have been here to talk about what their plan is to rectify the situation. They haven't been. We were gonna ask them to be there on the 20th, or the 24th, I apologize. Maybe you should put that in writing, that the commission's recommending them to, requesting, I should say, attending that 24th meeting. As far as
Also information to the mayor.
yeah.
Make sure the mayor is aware of it.
As far as modifying the enforcement order, Justin, do you have the enforcement order with you today? Can I read that? You guys can, anybody else in the commission have anything to go over on that? So the order is basically associated parties that work to adhere, right? To adhere to the recommendations of DEP by utilizing least impactful methods, such as the use of hand tools should be used to removal of the sediment for the impacted area. Replacement of the old silt fence and erosion control measures shall occur within stormwater swale and areas of impact. Associated parties shall consider implementing additional armoring to the stormwater swale. All extracted materials should be deposited properly. Parties shall notify Concom and its agent before they start, and upon completion of the implementation of the methods, any extensive modifications or long-term maintenance within the areas of work will require a notice of intent. I see a note here that was, we requested them to attend the 11/25 meeting as well, and that's the one that Dane did come to, correct, originally?
Yes.
So in order to modify this, what else should we be putting in, commission members, please? Go ahead.
So, I mean, in the current language, I mean, this is just my opinion, they think they fixed it. We
Yeah.
need stronger language in there to figure out cause of the problem and fixing the problem on top. They never say anything about the top, that's where it's coming from. They backed out of the sediment basin.
Yeah.
We can certainly request a sediment basin,
Yeah,
and I think we should. Or at least explore other options, at least including a sediment basin, excuse me.
the only reason why I'm saying, how can we do this correctly is because if DEP is gonna be telling them how to fix it, do we wanna write something on the amendment that contradicts what DEP could be providing for information? What are your thoughts on this?
Did you say earlier that they had a meeting there, you couldn't attend it?
No, that wasn't tagged on the email when there was coordination for it. Okay. So
So in that email where you're requesting DEP, tell them that if there's any more future discussions and meetings, associated with the sludge landfill in the breach or the, enforcement order, that you should be in attendance. So See what I'm saying? I don't, go ahead.
Yeah,
speak,
I'm
please.
agreeing that, you don't wanna contradict what DEP has to say. This is also our chance to tell both DEP and the city, this is what we would like.
Yeah, no, I
They can say,
agree.
no, you can't, but why would they? You have to have stronger language in there about fixing the problem. Taking sediment out is not
Yeah, they're not-
fixing the problem.
Well, this was nothing.
No, I know.
Compared to what we had.
It
on
still was caused by something we don't know,
Thursday. Right,
and we said that.
so I guess we should add in here, before we have to vote on opening it and changing the enforcement order, what they believe the issue is, where it started, all the data that they've gathered during their initial emergency repair, what they're gonna do to rectify it, what their opinions are through the engineer of what they can do in that, especially in that one spot that it continues to breach, there must be a reason why.
And up top.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, I wanna know what they believe caused this, I don't wanna hear it's snow melt or rain,
Yeah,
because that happens. So these are just some things we're gonna add to this, but we're kind of talking through it.
Oh.
I don't know, I mean, who made the decision to have a retaining pond on top or some type of stormwater basin on the top of the sludge landfill? We wanna know who made that decision? Is it still up there?
legal?
Is it still up there? What else you got?
Has anything been done since you guys went down there Friday, or Thursday?
They did repair, and it did seem to slow down while we were there. Well, still wanna see the maintenance records too, and I want those pretty quick, I want those before next meeting, cause it's been months that we've asked for that, there's no excuse, get them over here. Should be already filed, right, I mean, so they should be something that we should get. Looking for those pictures.
Yeah.
But they did, that's what they did. I'm just showing pictures of some of the emergency repairs.
Yeah. Not much.
Well,
Well,
Well, it's,
up here, you know.
it was coming all the way down the side,
Okay.
but that's just, like you said, a repair, that's not
Yeah.
a fix.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen again, if we get another heavy rainstorm, which we're bound to get one.
so far, what do we have for modifications to the enforcement order?
Given the issues, getting data, other ideas to rectify, and then and background to decisions that were made. And then also gain the maintenance records.
I mean, I think we have to address the top more formally. If there's a pond and a dam up there, that needs to be explained, and investigate if it's legal.
You know, you figure, we haven't had this kind of a winter in a long time, we got 3 feet of frost, and that's why it's going up where it's not going. Which, you know, I'm not giving them an excuse, but that, you know, that's one of the reasons.
But if designed properly, it
Exactly.
would not have happened.
No, you're right.
If you can't read my writing, call me out, because I'm getting angry as I write here.
Awful quiet in here. You gotta write fast, now, let's go.
Getting carpal tunnel away so much. Alright, I'm gonna add to this. So, do we need to open this for a motion, right? The enforcement order, or can we just add to it? Do we have to vote on adding?
They need to be sake, we might wanna vote.
Alright, someone like to make a motion to amend the existing enforcement order?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I'm saying we should, add the following. Copies of all maintenance records, a long-term plan and solution to rectify the current situation that's been multiplied twice so far. Full explanation and, engineered decision on who made the decision, I got it written down, you don't have to do the notes. On the pond and dam at the top, is it legal? Cleanup plan, written. The outcome of today's meetings with DEP, your attendance in future DEP meetings. Plan to replace the silt fence until this is all rectified, because obviously it's coming into the spring. Reporting during rain events, I asked Viola when I was on site about the rain events, how often, how much, usually it's after so much rain. Inspections, when do they occur, how often, by who, and their credentials. And also inspection reports from 2024 to date. Anything else we should add?
And they'll tell us of the testing.
Oh, yep, test results, yeah.
They tested that morning.
Yeah, timeline for repairs. And attendance at the 24th meeting. Good? Anybody have anything else? You good?
Okay.
Someone like to make a motion to approve those additions to the existing enforcement order?
I'll make that motion.
Someone to second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Copy me on our correspondence to those, to DEP and to, Dane and DPW as well.
Put on.
Oh, yeah, my fault. Get feisty over here. I think I just gave you my agenda's stuff in there, in that folder. Thank you. Next, under the enforcement order is 36 Nicole Terrace. Is somebody here to represent Nicole Terrace? Have you heard anything on Nicole Terrace?
Went out for a site visit with the representative and the homeowner. They were evaluating the best way to remove a lot of the wood and debris from the areas of concern. And a lot of the loggers that they had reached out to were of a price window that was outside the reach of the homeowner, so they were going to opt to bring a wood chipper in and have the wood chipper go to the closest, aim towards the closest corner to the road and out of the way of the wetland, and then later bring a vacuum truck to vacuum all the wood chips up and make multiple trips. Remove that out.
That's not gonna work.
That's a lot of wood.
That's not
It's gonna
gonna
take
work.
a long time.
So-
Wait a minute, guys, hold on a minute. Now, I just was down there before we get to the meeting, right? That's a mess, we all know that. But there's saw logs in there. What are they gonna do with the saw logs?
Yeah, they're gonna
You know
leave.
what I mean by a saw log?
Yeah, it's something that's gonna be
No,
milled.
It's gonna go to
It's
the
not
mill,
gonna go to
be
wood chipper.
chipped. It's gonna be made into
I saw
lumber, right? That, you know, this, I can't believe what a mess it is. Plus, they cut everything high, so you can't get a skidder in there because the stumps are too high. If they cut the stumps off, they can work it around. I don't know what they're gonna do, but that's not gonna work. That's crazy.
Yeah, the homeowner did hire a specialist, right, an engineer.
Yes.
Can we get that engineer on, Zoom if they're not local for the 24th meeting?
Yes.
Okay, and I want the written plan presented to us by the 24th, and we really can't take into consideration what costs. They made the mistake, we've been more than flexible, we need to move forward, so I want the written plan on the 24th. Okay, and their engineer, either in person or on Zoom. Alright, thanks. Anybody else have anything else on 36 Nicole Terrace?
The only other thing, make sure they're not doing any work over there.
Yeah, they haven't been.
Well, I know, but you know.
Anybody else in the
Well,
commission have
I
anything?
have a question.
Go ahead.
So I thought she was gonna come up with a plan in April.
That's why we're done with the April game, so she can
Okay.
call in Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what that's,
okay.
Alright.
anybody in the, public have any comments on 36 Nicole Terrace? No, thank you. Next on the agenda is 282 Brookside Drive. What do you got for an update on that?
I went down there tonight. I'll start.
We've been there before.
Yeah,
You
I
do
went down
recognize
there
it now,
tonight,
right? Yep.
That's worse than the Cold Terrace. It's not as big, but it's, I mean, the guy just cut everything down.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know, is he here tonight?
No. Oh, I don't believe so. Is anybody here for 282 Brookside? No. I want them here by the 24th with their plan as well. They should probably bring an interpreter too, just so they can, kind of communicate. Does anybody have any, general public comments on 282 Brookside Drive? Alan, you have anything for North County or anything?
Nothing further on that.
Okay, we can reach out to Emily too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I right by saying part of that belongs to?
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
CR.
I know,
Mr.
yeah.
Chairman, I just like
Go
to.
ahead, Paul.
Yeah, Paul DeMail, resident. I'd just like to make one comment about Brookside Drive. And Al and myself, we've been involved with that development for the last 20 years. Involved with the Concom, involved with the approvals of all those homes. And I'll just say this to the commission, we knew these problems were going to come about. And it just behooves us to keep a peek, and it behooves Justin to become acquainted with the area and to keep a peek. And Mr. Chairman, I think you had made quite clear to the gentleman, you need to know what your property lines are. You need to know what's in the deed, that you just can't go and cut in the bordering with vegetated wetlands. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. So you're gonna reach out to the applicant, make sure they have their plan by the 24th and bring in some type of, interpreter too, just so he can clearly articulate for us. Thank you. Next, hearings, request for determination of applicability. The Gardner Conservation Commission will hold a joint public hearing under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act and City of Gardner Wetlands Protection Ordinance. A notice of request for determination of applicability filed by James, Apicula. How do you pronounce that? Anybody know? Nope, nobody here?
Probably not the seller.
The project is located at 125 Snake Pond Road, Gardner. It's map H12-5-14 for the proposed tree removal, which is set to occur within the buffer zone of a border vegetated wetland. Have you heard anything from the applicant or the request?
I'll reach out to them for the 24th if that's applicable.
Yeah, could you drive by and just make sure they do the work already?
We can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a good idea when you're already out.
Check for pruning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, continue.
Yeah.
Someone like to make a motion to continue, thank you. I'm getting all fired up over this, ridiculous.
I'll make that motion.
Someone to second the motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. This is, next one on the agenda is a notice of intent, which is 0 Betty Spring Road. The Gardner Conservation Commission will hold a joint public hearing under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, the City of Gardner Wetlands Protection Ordinance. A notice of intent filed by Gardner Consulting LLC on behalf of Winecrest Properties LLC for the proposed construction of a single-family home, driveway, and associated utilities. This project is located off Betty Spring Road in Gardner. It's map R272524, but the portion of the work is set to occur within the buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. State your name, please.
Yep, so.
You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Perfect. So Justin McClare, McCarty Engineering here tonight on behalf of Goddard Consulting. They were double booked, so they asked I come and cover the meeting. So the first thing I just want to make mention of is we did get our DEP file number finally. Excuse me. The comment pertaining from DEP was regarding stormwater. Again, at the last meeting, I talked about this, that The stormwater regs are only local to the state of Gardner. Under the stormwater management for the state, the single family homes are exempt. That's why we didn't submit to DEP. They understood that, they still made a couple comments. The biggest one I just want to make mention of is they had a comment that no infiltration basin shall be located within 50 feet of a wetland. They were talking about the rain garden here located at the bottom of the hill. We're not accounting for infiltration, this is not an infiltration B&P, so it's fine where it's shown. Everything else was submitted to the state engineer for review, he had no comments, so the rest of DEP's comments been missed. At the last meeting, the biggest concern that the commission had was the underdrain shown here. So if you guys remember, rain garden shown here outside the 30 no alt. The underdrain based on the rain garden elevations is shown within the 30-foot no alteration zone. That, I just wanna make note that that length of pipe is 10 feet. I don't think we mentioned it at the last meeting.
Yeah, we had asked, but I don't think you knew.
Yeah, so it is 10 feet, I did double check. Between the last meeting and tonight, I did have a conversation with the city engineer about potential options that we could do. His main recommendation was to keep it where it was. He does not want to see it removed because of what we had talked about. If you remove it, this rain garden might not fully drain in the event that there's a potential heavy storm, if that rain garden ever overtops. Grade wise, even if we do some of the proposed grading in here just to convey it back down to the wetland, there's a risk that it would go over the street. So I did tell him what the commission's thoughts were, their feelings, things of that nature, and one potential option that they did suggest was we could tie in the under drain directly into the catch basin. That's down from our driveway. So it's approximately located where the one is on the plan where the notes are. So if you're looking here, you see the notes. So where number 1 is, that's where the existing catch basin is. So existing, everything sheets down to this pool here behind the telephone pole, and to the right of that, there's a catch basin in the road that this thing overtops, flows to the catch basin, and then discharges across the street to Dunsmore. So DPW did say that we could tie directly into that.
That's what I was just reading what Rob was.
Yeah. So I want to bring that to the commission's attention because yes, it is a direct connection. You don't have to worry about anything discharging directly into the 30 no alt. We are technically gonna have to still go inside of that 30-foot no alt where it is on the road, right? So ideally we would come out and we come down the shoulder of the road and either come in front of the utility pole between the pavement and the pole, or go behind it between the pole and the wetland. So either way, we still have to come into the 30.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
But you're saying right along the road though, right?
Yeah, so it'd be
That point.
between the property line and the edge of pave, so it's already in a disturbed shoulder, it's
Right,
cleared.
that's what I'm getting at.
Which is ideally for us, if anytime DPW or engineering says, oh yeah, tie directly into our drainage, we take it and run.
I think Rob's being more than flexible with options for you.
Yes, and I have no problem showing that. My one thing is, it is technically more disturbance in your 30 no alt. It's previously disturbed, we can have that conversation,
Yeah.
but before I made the change on the plan,
Yep.
it was either 10 feet of hand dug or 75 feet up against the shoulder of the road to get that to the catch basin.
And, I'm just gonna read what DEP said, I'm sure you saw it, but just in case anybody else didn't. It says, although a file number is being issued, please note the following: the stormwater management is proposed as a requirement for the local, level. Mass DEP offers the following comments for the commission's consideration. Infiltration BMPs are required to set back a minimum 50 feet from the surface water, and test pits are required at the location of the infiltration BMPs to verify seasonal high groundwater and soil types identified V2, Chapter 2 of the Mass Stormwater Handbook. The applicant should verify the function of the rain garden, i.e. infiltration or treatment. Commission may consider requesting test pit data for infiltration of BMPs, TSS worksheets, and may want to consider perpetual conditions for O&Ms. We kind of talked about,
And we
A
hit
lot of
on
that.
a lot of this, so that's why I at least wanted to make mention that they did comment, but it is a lot of the same stuff that we talked about at the last meeting.
so are you gonna be able, do you already do test pits out there in that area?
Not in this area specifically, so that's one thing I did talk to city engineer about, that when we get out there, we'll verify test pits. This whole thing's wooded right now, so to kind of get a machine in there would be difficult. Based on, we did assume groundwater is where your wetland is, and we built it up from there. If we happen to do a test pit and it's higher, all it's gonna do is raise up this rain garden. But we're not accounting for infiltration, so we don't meet the minimum 2-foot offset required, things like that, but we would verify the design, depth of groundwater, all that, and then submit that to the city engineer, and he was okay with that.
You're gonna be able to modify your drawings to take all this into consideration by the 24th?
So, the only thing on that comment
Yeah.
is the test pit. We'd like to condition that as part of the approval if the commission so deems. Again, I know with the stormwater ordinance, it's a little, I think you guys technically have jurisdiction on this as part of the order of condition. But, excuse me, the only other change that I would make to the plan is the location of the under drain, depending on what the commission would prefer to see.
I think what Rob, well, you talking about what Rob's proposing?
Yes.
That's what I would do, I mean,
The time of the,
yeah.
yeah, me too. It's already disturbed.
Right,
Yeah, and that's.
But-
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, he's being more than flexible.
Yeah, oh, no, I have no issue with what,
Nothing's been, that's a hell of a slope. I mean, that's a steep driveway. What happens if we get a 3-inch rainfall, which we do get?
so, so as part of this, you have the erosion control measures that are put in place as part of the project. I believe, to double check, I believe this is just under an acre.
And
Right around an acre,
and especially during construction.
Yeah, so there are other regulations in place. If it's over an acre, there's the stormwater pollution prevention plan.
Yeah.
That's required to be filed with the state, and as part of that, there's inspections, things of that nature that monitor any potential erosion. If it's under an acre, they're not required to, but the city stormwater ordinance does require some form of erosion control. So locally, and I believe you actually have the second sheet, that does have our typical construction
Yeah,
sequencing, erosion control measures, things like that. So your local ordinance does do what the SWIP does as well.
it takes it into consideration.
Yes.
I'd like to see revised drawings, and I know it's hard, but I'd like to see the test pit before we vote on it.
Oh, I wanna see it, I wanna go out there and inspect it. I wanna continue this. I wanna go out there, have you been out there lately?
Not lately.
Okay, I'll wait for the snow, maybe, before the next meeting, what, the 24th?
24th and then April 14th.
Maybe we're gonna lose enough more snow, but I wanna go out and think, I don't agree with it at all. I know we can't stop it, but and that's, the reason that it's not been built on, because it's so damn steep. That's why, I'm not saying you can't do it, I'm telling you right now, that's why there's open land out there, because, you gotta have a mountain goat to do it.
Well, I would say that comes under construction costs, and if you have an
Whatever.
owner that's willing to
But I
do the work.
don't know about the rest of the commission, but I think we should have a site visit out there.
Can we get a site visit before the 24th?
Yeah.
I wouldn't see why not, I would just, again,
Don't make it now, but make it up like, cause they're losing snow pretty good,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be warm,
so, I would just, again,
You're not gonna go out there and build the next 3 weeks.
no, it's just, I wanna make sure that we're not getting off track of the whole development.
Yeah,
We're talking.
Our jurisdiction.
Your jurisdiction,
that's what I'm
that's all.
talking about too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I wanna be able to see it.
Can we get out there, does it make sense to go the 24th, or does it make sense for you to finalize all that? Can you get the test pit done, a site visit by the 14th? I don't know whether either, I know I'd be
No.
asking the same thing if I was trying to do test pits, so.
yeah, and it's the test pits, it's getting the machine out there in time to do it. In this case, it would only be one, so it's easy enough. I would say, let me consult with the owner and Goddard,
Okay,
see what we can coordinate, but
Make
We
it
should-
closer to the 24th, because then you won't have snow, I would.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
alright, we'll continue it to the 24th, in the meantime, let's try to get a site visit out there, we should actually pick a site visit date and time now.
Can I
No, let's not do that, because if we get more snow, there's no sense going out there.
Then we postpone it from there.
Yeah, we can, well,
We have to open it to the public, so I mean, we gotta.
oh yeah, no, the site
Okay.
visit,
Um,
You,
Can I consult with Goddard?
Yeah.
Obviously, they would like to be out there. If
okay,
he was here tonight, we could nail down a date,
yeah,
but,
it's not your prerogative to.
yeah, so,
Let's continue it to the 24th.
yeah,
Right.
I'll reach out to them, we'll reach out to Justin to
yeah,
coordinate a date,
Okay,
and then we're going in the road.
I believe that's the way,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
that's not the decision, but that's the
But
way you
that's the
should,
way,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, someone like to make a motion to continue 0 Betty Spring Road to the, March 24th.
I'll make that motion.
Someone to second that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Alright, next on the agenda is the Greenwood Memorial Pool. The Gardner Conservation Commission will hold a joint public hearing under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act of the City of Gardner, Wetlands Protection Ordinance, and a notice of intent filed by Ty and Bond on behalf of the City of Gardner for the proposed demolition of the Greenwood Pool facility, along with the proposed construction of a pavilion for public gatherings. This will be located at 69 Park Street, Gardner, map M27-20-50, and a portion of the work is set to occur within the buffer zone of a bank and land underwater. It's DEP 160-0674. Somebody here to represent?
Yes.
Come on up, state your name.
My name's Aaron Sad, I'm with Time Bond. Don't have an easel, I do have, if you'd like to show it, I have the plans on a flash drive or copies, but,
You can just hand the copies out, I guess. I actually could try the zip, I just don't know, I've never done actual zip, but I gotta leave it plugged right.
it's up to you if you want to be able to see them, I have
You
it.
can hand out the hard copies.
So the project is fairly straightforward. Full size.
How many copies do you have?
Just the one,
And how many does it say on our website?
7.
And you go to the city, you don't even know there's this many commission members. Maybe you gotta put it up on the zip so we can all see it's not there.
I can run it off my.
Oh,
computer.
you don't mind? Thank
You
you.
don't mind.
No, that's good, I appreciate it.
We're not gonna all share one set and as much as we all like each other, I don't like everybody that much. He doesn't share well, look.
But well, it's gonna.
Yeah, can you kinda give us a brief lowdown of what you have and then,
So I'm assuming folks are fairly aware of the project. It's pretty straightforward. It involves the demolition of the existing Greenwood Memorial Pool building, the indoor pool building, and then the construction of a proposed wooden pavilion. There's gonna be concrete sidewalks connecting the new pavilion to the existing outdoor pool area, to the existing recently constructed bike path, and to the sidewalk on Park Street. There'll be some new trees added, some fencing around the site.
you're gonna make it look like that?
Wow, hey, you guys are all right.
There's no work within the no disturbance zone. The only work within the no build zone is the removal of a small section of existing asphalt sidewalk, and the construction of new concrete
Thank you.
sidewalk. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Who said National Grid doesn't play well with others?
You got it.
Thank you,
Wow.
appreciate it.
BSC.
I'm sorry, well,
So yeah, this is the overall, project site. The demolition plan, as I mentioned, there's no work in the, no disturbance zone. Only work in the no build zone is the removal of the small section of existing sidewalk.
yeah,
And then in the 100-foot buffer zone is partial, part of the existing pool building, which will be demoed. And then the proposed, site conditions, which again, there's, a small portion of the new sidewalk within the, no build zone, a portion of the new pavilion and some new sidewalks within the, 100-foot buffer zone. The site does not contain any, regulatory floodplain area, no estimated or priority habitat in CSP areas, no areas of critical environmental concern, no vernal pools, no outstanding resource waters. We did receive a file number from DEP. They had some minor comments on stormwater. They were looking for calculations for required recharge volume and water quality volume. We provided those to them. They received those, so they would save them to their file. And I understand didn't have any further comments. We sent out the certified mail receipts, and we have the hard copies of the delivery confirmations for abutters. If the commission has any.
Go ahead, fire away.
Questions.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the sidewalk that goes to the pool. I mean, is it connected to the current pool, or what's the deal with that part?
Yeah, connected to the you know, that area around the pool, the concrete.
is there now?
No, this new one.
Yeah, was
So-
there one before?
No, there's currently no.
I'm just curious, so like, you go to this pavilion and then you just walk into the pool?
There'll be a fence
Okay.
separating them. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Chain
part.
fence, yeah.
So what's the sidewalk for then, if there's a chain link fence?
Well, there's a gate, so.
Oh, a gate,
Yeah.
okay.
When you demolish it, you're gonna remove everything,
Yes.
the foundation?
Yep, building foundation.
Everything's going.
Yep, yep.
Has it been remediated already, Duncan? Duncan's been on the commission for how long?
Oh, God.
On the Greenwood
Yeah.
Pool Commission as well.
I don't know if it has been remediated.
No, there's been, testing, there's, you know, we've got the asbestos information.
You ever been in it?
Yes, yeah.
It's scary. Yeah, right,
It's not
yeah,
just in the-
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just, so under the roof, it's just like a pea stone, is that right? Under the roof of the new pavilion?
Yes, on the sides, on either
Yeah.
side of the gable for the proposed pavilion,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
That'll be a concrete pad?
A concrete pad under the actual structure, and then on either side where the roof edge, like a drip edge, is a crushed stone strip on either side.
One question about it, is the tunnel still there?
I don't believe so.
They built it, I thought, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the one that went to Haywood's, when they were supplying the heat. It was a tunnel underneath the street.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I think it was there.
You wanna see stormwater?
I saw it before.
Yeah. What's the duration of the project, like, when you're gonna start remediation? Like this was-
That's gonna be as soon as possible. We're hoping to receive the stormwater permit from, DPW, and then get it out to bid. The thought at this point is to proceed under two separate contracts, one to demolish the building, and then another to construct the proposed improvements.
Well, would you be doing abatement and demo as one contract?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
standard.
it was under the-
That's the way to do it, that way there's no
Yeah.
point in who owns what.
Right.
And who's gonna manage this project for the city? Oh, boy.
Yeah, you're right.
You're gonna manage?
Yes.
Okay, good. And, how many people are you gonna put it out to bid to?
It'll be public bid,
Okay.
anyone who
Is it, what are you expecting, 4 or 5?
You don't know, it's not,
Yeah,
I don't know if
sure
it
it
is.
is now.
Do we have the money for it?
Yes, yep, we have a
Part of
community development
block grant.
grant from, yep, we have a funding secured.
I'm curious why you put it where you put it,
The
and
thought.
why you have it angled the way you have it.
So the location was sort of to have it set back a little bit from the road, so it's not, you know, right up against the road. If there's some sort of event going on, folks are walking by and, you know, gives the people using it a little bit of distance. And then to separate it also so that it can you know, it's a separate, location from the existing outdoor pool area, so that, you know, could be some connectivity, depending on what type of events are going on there. The angle, the orientation, was to facilitate the grading of the area, trying not to, the site is generally sloped, it's a gentle slope, from plan right to plan left. So we were trying to build it into that slope while also angling the water sort of out to either side of it, as best we could.
What's the size of the new, pavilion?
80 by 40, I believe.
So can you just talk about one more time and point to the public here, the Crystal Lake water edge?
Yep.
And where your boundaries of construction are gonna be?
Yep, so the thick dashed line around the outside is the proposed limit of work. It's a little bit tough to see here, but this is the existing, bike path, so the closest disturbance to Crystal Lake will be the connection to that existing bike path. Crystal Lake itself, the edge of water is here, so these are the 30-foot, no disturbance zone, and then 30 feet from that is the no-build zone. This is 100 feet, the 100-foot buffer zone.
I mean, it's all been previously disturbed, so it's an improvement for the
Yeah,
land.
definitely.
That's, where those row of shrubs are up in the upper right, is that where the old substation was?
Yes.
That's how close it is, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like that when you drive by, does it? Anybody else in the commission have any questions? No. I do this for a living, right? I wanna see a logistics plan, where your boundaries are, your, containment. You're gonna put some fencing up, are the fence posts gonna be drilled in, are they gonna be on concrete block? Wanna know where your dumpsters are gonna be, your hazmat dumpster. What you're gonna do to protect anything from, you know, wind-blown particles coming out of that building. I know the answers to these, I know you know the answers as well, but I wanna see all that in writing. Parking, where is construction gonna be parking? Porta johns, where they're gonna be, material storage. Timeline, schedule, Procore, project, we're gonna be doing it in Procore again, like you've done the others.
Yep.
Invite the Procore for the commission.
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ty and Bond has been there quite a few times, right?
To the side.
And it really rubs me the wrong way when you only bring one copy.
I apologize.
I
for
know,
that.
but
It's-
you know, somebody at a Ty and Bond.
Yeah, I should have
Right.
asked around.
So when you go back there tomorrow, crank them a little bit, huh? Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna open this up for public comment, again, 2 minutes. New information, this has been debated for how many years?
Forever.
So again, you know, there's two sides to, you know, the history of the building, the proposed use of the new area. So just keep that in mind. If, anybody in the public, raise your hand, state your name, if you have any public comment for record. No?
Mr. Chairman, hold the mail. Just a quick comment, probably not too many, know in this room, probably very, very few, but that whole area, back 100+ years ago, was a great pond. When it was, when the building was, built, it was a, natural pond that abutted Crystal Lake. That was all filled in. Now, I like the fact that Duncan Burns asked about the fact if everything below grade was gonna be excavated out. I think that's very, very important because I don't know what there is for a substructure under there in terms of concrete and everything, but I can tell you this, I think when everything's excavated to that level, there's gonna have to be pumps brought in to pump out the groundwater that is gonna seep in. probably to a great extent from Crystal Lake. So I think, something needs to be put into the order of conditions, planning on this, and how it's gonna be remedied, handled, and where that groundwater is gonna be pumped to. Now, also, I think, the commission, needs to be aware of, after everything is excavated, what is gonna go in there for fill. Plus the fact that all that new fill is gonna have to be compacted, to a certain degree to support the new pavilion.
Thank you,
That's that.
thank you. So we talked about logistics plan, we're gonna do a Procore timeline. I already had down soils, we're not gonna get into means and methods of construction, we're not here, we're not gonna get into that. As far as pumping water, that's all means and methods, I mean, that's state, you have a 10-day notification period, you gotta dewater to a frac tank, you gotta get the water tested, and then it's shipped off, you don't repump it, filter it with carbon, and push it back into the water, that's best practice, it's the law, so it's not really something. O&M manual, who's gonna maintain this, who owns maintaining this going forward?
I believe the DPW is correct? Yeah.
So DPW is gonna maintain this,
Well, who maintains the pool right now?
I don't know. Do you know who does that?
Anyone else?
I believe it's DPW, to my knowledge.
Anyway?
Steve Rockwood,
Yeah.
the pool is managed by HR.
Yeah, the pool, the lifeguards and stuff,
So-
yes.
Right, so I would assume,
They don't maintain, they probably have a third party that comes in, or somebody comes in,
right,
and that's the contestant, the waters. Okay,
Well, they oversee the new park, right? It's right next to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody have any other comment on the commission?
No.
Someone like to make a motion to close the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Someone like to second that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I think we have pretty much our conditions, right? We know what they are.
Yeah.
Thank you. You don't know the timeline per se yet, it's gonna go out to bid,
Yeah.
it'll be this summer.
Right, yeah, or early summer and late spring or summer, as soon as we can get a contractor on board.
Okay.
You have any idea how long it'll take to come down?
Our demo and hazmat folks think the demolition project will be less than 3 months, but, you know, it depends on, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
We have to receive their signals to do everything, so.
Yeah, it's probably a month to abate it all,
Yeah,
and then it's probably gonna be another month to take it apart.
yeah.
Alright, so, I mean, I'm willing to kind of put this forward for a vote with, the commission getting the logistics plan. The schedule will be, obviously, once it's awarded, and, we need to know who's gonna, just confirmation of who's gonna maintain it, and then an O&M record, and then the associated testing throughout construction, or abatement and construction.
Yep.
Other than that would be, those would be added to our standard order of conditions. You all right with those?
Yes.
Anybody in the commission have anything further to add to this?
No.
No?
It's a long time coming.
Someone would like to make a motion to approve, the Greenwood Pool, demolition and the construction of the new pavilion.
I'll make that motion.
Someone like to second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Just signing it. Alright, next on the agenda is, New England Power, A1B2 transmission line. The Gardner Conservation Commission will hold a joint public hearing under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 Wetlands Protection Act, the City of Gardner Wetlands Protection Ordinance on notice of intent filed by BSC Group on behalf of Linden Power Company for a proposed large-scale refurbishment project to be conducted on the A1, B2 transmission line. Portions of the proposed work are set to occur near several areas of jurisdiction along an existing utility right-of-way, both within and outside Gardner city limits. State your name, please.
Teresa Perconte, here on behalf of New England Power, the PSC group.
Thank you. I want to just now you did meet with us, how long ago was it last time?
Summer, it's hot in here, it's
It was,
right.
it was July, was that?
Was it July?
It was
July.
July.
It's July 8th.
No, July 22nd, that was the minutes that I, put up.
Oh, please,
Yeah, I gotta say.
So, similar, content overview, and I can also, it also just includes an update on where we are in some of the other permitting, efforts that were ongoing. And for those in the public, just an overview of the project. So the project, is located within an existing right-of-way that extends from Vernon, Vermont, all the way into Sterling, Massachusetts. So total mileage of the project is 61 miles, that's including the portion in Vermont and New Hampshire, and then within Massachusetts, 54 miles. There's 2 tap lines, one of them is located in Gardner, that's the Crystal Lake tap. And then you can see the list of the 9 municipalities that the transmission line goes through. So the need for the project is that the A1 and B2 are it's the oldest transmission lines in the region. They were constructed in 1909 and they're reaching the end of their asset life. So they are conducting the project to address asset condition and aging infrastructure and to improve reliability, resiliency, and efficiency, and to and also to allow a larger capacity. Right now, the line is operated at 69 kV. When they replace it, it'll continue to operate at 69 kV, but they're designing it for 115 so they don't have to go back in and replace the structures in their expected lifetime. So this is just giving you an overview of the project area. Here we are within Gardner here, and this is that tap line that I had mentioned on Crystal Lake. So the project's been going on for a while. Abutters have been engaged, been notified throughout the permitting process, field assessment process as well. We're in this phase here where we're undergoing permitting, and construction is not anticipated to start until 2026, and it'll extend into 2030. And the way that construction will work is it'll be done in phases along the line. So it won't be, 5 years of ongoing construction along the whole transmission line. It'll be between substations where outages can occur to facilitate the construction of the work. So an update on where we are. Currently, the siting board is still reviewing the petition. We completed discovery. It's in their hands now to complete the review. We received our completed MEPA review as well. We received our certificate on the FEIR in September of 2024. We did file a checklist. We just received our letter from Heritage, which was reflected in their comments in the MEPA filing, that we do have a take for 2 species. They're not located in Gardner, but just an update there. We are going to be obtaining a CMP for those 2 species. Army Corps of Engineers, they have it. We've been coordinating with them. They won't issue until DEP issues their water quality cert. At this point in time, we're not expecting mitigation up front. The mitigation that will be provided is for the temporary matting within wetlands will be assessed. If they'll be in place for more than a growing season, which will track during construction, then in lieu fee will be provided as compensation for the project. So we'll be, filing under NIPDs closer to the start of construction period. DEP is currently reviewing our 401 certificate. We've completed the administrative review component of the process, and they're starting their technical review. We're expecting comments in the next couple weeks, and that was filed in 2024, and the commission received a copy of that. And then we're here. We've been starting to file in February, March, and then April as well to complete the filings across the municipalities. And then these are just some of the other anticipated permits that will be filed. So within Gardner, the main line portion of it is 5.22 miles long. Primary habitat is forested. We do have some adjacent, we do have some portions of the line that is in residential areas. We do have portions of the right-of-way that intersect conservation land, which is listed there. And this just identifies the areas where we're in largely residential locations. So there's 76 existing structures. That's the main line portion. And then that top line's a short segment, 1.2 miles long, located near the Gardner Municipal Golf Course. Pearly Brook Reservoir is actually situated where the top line intersects with the main line, and you have the Gardner Switch located at that T. 50 structures along there. Wetland resources, 40 BBWs were delineated off and on right-of-way. Riverfront area bordering land subject to flooding, land under wetlands and waterways, and work in buffer zone. Major waterways that intersects the right-of-way are Bailey Brook and Pearly Brook. And then one of the cold water fishery resource areas is Bailey Brook. So just a snapshot of what the current structures look like, what they will be replaced with. This is located here, so these are steel lattice towers. They'll be replaced with steel monopole structures that will continue to hold pole circuits. And you can see there will be a height increase over the existing towers here. This is just showing you the tap lines. Yes?
I read the whole report.
Yeah.
I read it. Really, I was proud of myself, because I actually read the whole thing. Now, it didn't mention about removing the old towers.
They will be removed.
Okay.
Yes.
As you come.
Yeah, once the sequence will be, they have to set and install all of the new structures, put in the conductor, and then they can wreck out, because the way it will work is one circuit's gonna be going while they're doing the construction. So once that's complete, then they'll completely wreck out the existing structures. Yeah. And this is just the tap line, different types of structures. So each tap is on a single structure, and those will be replaced with, again, a steel monopole structure. So part of the scope of work is to provide clearance for the conductor that's going in. So this is just giving you a cross section to provide a visual. So the main line, it is cleared, and what they are going to be doing is extending that clearance about 10 feet on either side of the right of way to establish that 100 foot of clearance. We took a look at that when we were out in the field in the site visit. So this is just showing here, we use the LiDAR in order to map that. That's what you're seeing on the plan, to identify where it's based on canopy, where that intersects in that 100 feet, and that's all mapped out. So you have some areas here where you'll have, a tree that is located, or they may be, doing some pruning along the edge in order to provide that clearance. So that's within the right-of-way itself, and then you'll see on the plans off right-of-way, there may be areas where they need to remove trees, or it could be very selective in order to get equipment down the access, or again, sideline pruning. The component of the work that is subject to review is they are going to need to improve access in order to do this work. These structures are going to, require a live line, work area, as I said. They're gonna have one circuit that is going to be live while they're constructing the work, and they need to have a safe work area in order to conduct it, as well as access. There's variable access conditions within this right of way. And a lot of areas, very steep, uneven terrain, where they're going to need to improve in order to be able to bring in cranes, concrete trucks, to do this work safely. So in general, the work pads that you're seeing on the plans that were submitted, the general design is to have that work pad area within the main line be 160 by 80 feet. This varies. You'll see some areas where it's smaller because the terrain is constrained, or we've worked with them to limit it due to resources in the area. But that was the general, the starting point was that 160 by 80. Where they're just wrecking out a structure, they're able to have a smaller work area. So in the filing and on the plans, there's different types of access that's proposed. So in a lot of areas where they do have existing access, that's denoted on the plans as that type R and S, where they're gonna be improving, adding gravel, or widening the area. And then you have other areas where they're designated as type 1 to 5, and 3 to 5 on your plans are areas where the grade is steeper. And they have designed that access to be able to ensure that BMPs to control stormwater are incorporated, and taking into account the limit of disturbance that's going to be needed in order to get a level pad created. And so that's the differences in the areas there that you see. So you'll see areas where the LOD is a little wider in those areas to accommodate, a swale needing to be put in along the side of the access road, or plunge pool, or other management features, or just to get that grade at the level that it needs to be. So that's just a quick overview. The plan set is long. I'll take direction from the commission at this point in time on questions, area to focus on. I will just note one thing right now with DEP that we are working out for the review of the 401 is the wetland replication areas. We did conduct a site visit with them, and the area within Gardner, which would be located in the buffer zone currently, it's a boulder area, and so they did ask us to go out and do some additional observations of the groundwater in order to inform the design. That hasn't occurred yet. We're waiting for suitable conditions, so we do anticipate follow-up with the commission, for the plans of that area.
Yeah, I was just reading about that, so we're losing approximately 517 square feet of BBW, right? It's on page 9. But then it talks about continuous existing wetlands in the row in an area not likely to be impacted by future maintenance or construction of lines, an upland area measuring approximately 650 square feet will be converted to wetlands. Can you kind of talk about that? It's a little vague, but it says proposed location of the wetland replication areas contiguous to wetlands GAW12, which is located on Kelton Street. Can we just kind of?
Yeah, if you want me to jump to that spot.
I'm just going on the areas. I know the tree cutting, and I understand, utilities have some right-of-way action going there. Not much we can do on some of that, but some of this is under the jurisdiction. This is a lot of information to kind of dig through.
Yeah.
I've asked Justin to read it and interpret it to me, but he hasn't yet.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of information here, so I guess for the commission wise, I'm thinking third-party review on this, just to kind of help out. It's a lot of data, and maybe some insight throughout construction, especially in some designated areas like the replication areas. I don't want to delay, obviously, it's, you know, you've been coming before us and doing a great job. It's just a lot of information to kinda understand. Go ahead, Doctor.
You know, this construction is gonna come through, right? But then, you're gonna have to go right back and into the areas where, you know, where it's wetlands, to take the old towers down. And that's not, I would like to see more on that, taking those old towers down, cause they're gonna come, like it said in Pioneer, it says, any stone wall disturbed or anything like that will be reconstructed, and everything like that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, then they're gonna go right back and start taking the towers down.
And that'll be all part of the construction sequence. So
Hmm.
once they erect the tower, string the wire, then they'll do the wreck out. So it won't be, you know, like we'll come back, another segment of another project entirely. It'll all be done as part of that process.
It's not said that way.
So you're saying it's not gonna be a year later when they take out the old towers, you're saying it's during that,
It's during the phase
Whatever,
of, yeah,
3
when
months when they're in that
they're
area.
doing work within
So
the
you already
area.
have the equipment there, and you don't,
Correct.
and you don't have to bring it in twice.
Yeah, and the matting will get, you know, once they wreck up,
See-
the matting gets removed and.
It wasn't addressed like that.
So we didn't provide a lot of detail on the BMPs associated with the exempt maintenance activities, but that's certainly something that we can provide
Yeah.
to the commission.
Cause that was my concern, you know, after you get all the new towers in and the wires are up,
Yeah.
then you have but, you know, now you're telling us that as you progress down through,
Yeah.
that the new tower, the old tower comes down.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we can also help point out, you know, where in the MIPA submittals that information is
Okay.
also available, and if additional information on the BMPs, we can provide that.
And one more thing. You said that the line was constructed in, 1908, that's wrong. Because you got the right of ways in 1908. And my father was a chainman on the surveyor crew,
Really?
yeah. And it was like in 1922, 23,
Huh.
when they actually started construction. The chainman isn't used anymore, but
Yeah.
it was a 100-foot chain, and he was a young kid, and he dragged the chain 100 feet and pinned it, and it, you know, went forever. But he did that with the surveyors.
That's
That's crazy.
amazing. The way they do the work now is very different. When we were walking this line, we all went, how did they do this in some of these areas? I'll have to share that with the commission. There's a really cool documentation called the HARE, which was required for archaeological history of the structures itself and
I'll tell you
documents.
one more thing. When I got out of the Coast Guard in 1964 and I was looking for a job, my father had kept contract with people that worked for New England Power. And he says, can you use my son? And the guy says, yeah, but he says, there's only one problem. He says, in a year's time, it's gonna be disconnected. That was expecting the wires, walking them. Cause in a year's time, I would've been let go and a helicopter was doing it. So I didn't take the job.
You asked about Kelton Street and the replication area, we did submit the plans, I don't wanna go fiddle and find them, but it's located in this area here. And this area has a lot of boulders, we weren't able to see it because it was several feet of snow when we were out there. But there's a lot of boulders, and so, you know, they've asked to just take a look at that area, provide some supplemental information as to whether or not, you know, it could really provide a suitable mitigation area off of this existing wetland system in here.
Does it tie into another wetland?
Yeah, so the proposal
way-
is to tie into and, you know, pull and meet
A
the
bigger part,
existing
not just a
grade.
little swath to tie them in, want something larger, right? What happens is when people do these replications, they get this little sliver and they go, here's our tie-in. And you really need it to be like 10 feet, 20 feet wide to tie in the two. 'Cause, I mean, you know, you're scientists, you get it.
Yeah.
But people like to do that, oh, I got a 3-foot sliver that ties, you know, 200 feet between the two wetlands, and they call it a tie-in. We all know reptiles, anything that's in those warm pools aren't gonna really
Yeah, this area here, on the plans,
That's all right, I'm reading it, but I
yeah,
wanna,
they'll pull back and create that 517. I think on the plan it's actually a bit larger than, the exact amount.
Yep.
To
maybe
be-
that's the 650 they're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, we're made aware there's a project going on along this off right-of-way access, and Justin shared some work that's happening, in town too, and I'm working with National Grid to just let them know these activities, just in case sequencing of construction, will have any effect on these other projects, or vice versa.
Okay. So we don't have any DP, you said, right? We don't have a number.
So they only issued the number in the comments at 5 o'clock this
Yeah.
evening, so it's not a lot of time for, the commission to, absorb the comments, and, also we need time to have you guys be able to give
Yeah,
the
they-
response.
I did take a look at them, they pointed out one area that they were saying, needs buffer zone, so I'll certainly take a look at that. The other comments were about having, if there's off right-of-way access, having the landowner be a signature. We'll take a look at that too. Typically, there's easement, access that we don't usually obtain, signatures for that, but that's something that we'll, coordinate, with the real estate rep on the project. And look into, but they didn't have any other comments.
Okay, go ahead.
Justin, did you see the area that they're potentially replicating?
They can't get out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
we had,
it's all
we had.
still full
Yeah.
snow?
we had a lot of snow, Yeah.
It snows up here? I didn't know that. Sometimes we get rain too.
It was raining.
I have another. When the construction starts, and I assume that National, New England Ware is gonna put it out on bid. Right, it'll be bid by one company or two or three or whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
Do you take the low bidder, or do you take the one that's most qualified?
Well, I can't speak on their bidding process, specifically, but in what I have been involved in, it is not just take the low number.
Okay. So you're looking for somebody who's done this before?
Yes.
Right, okay.
And typically, their bid processes, they're getting from their vendors that they've been,
Yeah.
working and doing this line work, and
That one, well, I wasn't trying to, I was just saying, like, in this building, right, we have to take the low bidder, because it's a municipality, right? No, I mean, there is, sometimes it doesn't work that way, but, it ends up working that way.
If you drive up through Winchendon and go through Swans like you go into Keene, you can kinda see a good area of what they're talking about with the mats and timbers.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it in Gardner, they do a great
Yeah,
job.
they do, yeah. Alright, well, I'd like to continue it to the next meeting,
Yep.
and I still kind of debating on third party, cause this is a lot for us. And it's a long duration project, so that's something we're still kind of going back and forth. I mean, we worked with National Grid before, we work with you guys all the time. So it's a very detailed report, but it's a lot of information for us to kind of absorb, so would someone like to make a motion to continue to the 24th of March?
I'll make the motion.
Someone like to second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
it was a good presentation.
thank you.
Thank you.
And if we need any supplemental, just, Justin, you can always go back out when there isn't snow on the ground, so happy to do that.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Next, under old business, 170 Mill Street. I know, we going back and forth, do you have any update on that? We're waiting back from the state, correct?
Moving back, yeah, so, but yeah, I also took a site visit out last week, after the rain event, water levels have risen
Yep.
a bit, and so has the flow rate, that's also sped up a lot, so I kinda wanna get a gauge for, but,
Alright, someone like to make a motion to continue, I'm gonna take, cause I know I'm waiting on the state, so we're gonna, make a motion to continue to April 14th for 170 Mill Street. Someone to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Someone to second that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is, DEP 1600651, 80 Minot Street. It's the order of, original copy conditions. How are your name is?
Excuse me?
What's your name?
Oh, Ron Sherry.
Ron?
Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Any update, any more information you wanna share with us?
Since put the DEP number up on a sign, on a metal post for, and other than that,
Where do we stand on your end?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
and then once the weather allows, I was gonna go back out and redo the silt fencing, because
Yep.
that's, needs to be replaced.
So, go ahead.
Make sure you get the kind that has a wire in it, so it stands up.
Okay,
Yeah, the other stuff just
It's
literally
something
falls
new,
over,
it's-
and you'll be out there all the time.
yep.
So we'll continue us to, you think April 24th, or 14th will be good?
April 14th.
April 14th, I'm sorry.
That's when his order expires.
So we gotta do it, I was just trying to make it so he can get his stuff out there, you can make a site visit once the silt fence is up, so you think you can get that by the 24th?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so let us know when it's up, you'll come out on the, before the 24th.
Do you still wanna?
If you can.
Yeah,
What? Go ahead.
I was just wondering if you wanted to sign it first or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve DEP 1600651 upon site visit and the silt fence? We're just basically cleaning up some old records.
Yeah.
Someone like to make that
I'll
motion?
make that motion.
Someone like to second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Approved, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Just let Justin know when we can get out there.
Yeah,
Again, we're just cleaning it up. I mean, thank you for holding.
Yeah.
We're trying to all do the right thing here.
oh yeah, no, I get it.
Thank you.
Be in touch with you when the copy of the order is ready.
Okay,
Yeah,
very good, thank you.
yeah, so it's gonna be page.
While we're signing, let's talk about, MACC. We all attended the conference, or myself, David, Green, and Justin. You wanna just kinda talk about what you came for, takeaways from the training? And you took my notes, could you please read your notes? You were supposed to take notes for me.
I mean, I took a few classes on, the dynamics of, soils and, also ticketing,
Enforcement?
And enforcement, yep, I did that. I wanted to take a lot of soils courses just so I could get a lot more intimate with the sciences behind a lot of the work that we have under our purview. As far as takeaways, I mean, it's been a while, I have takeaways from the class I just had this other week, but. Yeah.
So, as far as enforcements, we got copies of, what they look like. Wanna pass it down? Bring, were you in my class, or you weren't in that?
I wasn't in that.
Yes, yeah, so we need to try to figure out, it's in our bylaws already, we just need to get some books made, and then go in front of council and just kinda make sure that we're getting everything in place. And, we'll be able to, we could do it right now, through, Board of Health or, Josh, but we wanna get our own booklets made up, so if you, when things kind of slow down a little bit, to find out where we can get these made. We did say you go to the police department, find out where their books are made, they probably already have these templates where they're printed, so we just gotta kind of do that. What else do you want? I took the soils class with you, I didn't get to read.
Yeah, no, I got to go through a couple different sections, there were 8 samples and we got to, like you said, get dirty and then try to differentiate between the different percentages of silt, clay, and sediment, so.
We also talked about, in one of the other classes, about taking deeper soil samples. A lot of times they only go down a couple inches, 6, 8 inches, we wanna go a lot farther. That was something that was a good takeaway for me, I think I mentioned that to you. And then, I think we should all take that soils class, I actually just taught that class at work, but we should actually, next year, they should take it, I mean, Nick and once Brian comes on. That's a great class, you should take it, Dave, you probably could teach it too, but, yeah, it was really good. And they had like samples, you can actually go in and test it, but it has to do with compactions and stuff like that too, so that was interesting. What, did you guys take anything else that you said, go ahead?
Yeah, I took one of the state's biodiversity goals, but the way it pertains to us is through culverts in particular. You know, increasing storm events, we need bigger culverts, and that'll help with their state long-term goals for biodiversity and things like that. They're taking it a little bit more seriously, and very exciting to go to the fine structure
Very
workshop.
interesting.
Because fortunately, the way our bylaws are written, it pertains exactly what it's supposed to word-wise to allow us that possibility to enforce fines as a last resort. But we certainly have it within our power to be able to do so. We should do so when it requires it. It's cool.
I got some good contacts for some additional third-party review companies.
Oh, yeah.
I know that we all talk probably the same people, and then a lot of information on stormwater, that seems to be coming up a lot as well. So I took a lot of good information.
So I took a variety of classes during the conference, learned that there are different ways to deal with beavers rather than just exterminate them. There are different ways of broaching the dams, and there are unique techniques that deal with beavers.
Yeah.
that you can breach the dam in a different way and still repel the beavers, and everybody can coexist very nicely. Then also found out that there's gonna be a lot more, throughout the state, there's gonna be a lot more solar arrays being installed in the next 25 years because the state has to meet its requirement for 2050 and reducing fossil fuel use. So there's gonna be a lot more solar arrays that we see throughout the state. So we might get more here. And it's not gonna be just on tops of buildings and on tops of parking lots. It's gonna be the kind of thing that you see in the landscape. Also took a class that talked about using native plants for a variety of purposes, including planting under solar arrays so that they can.
It's coming up big now.
They
We
don't
talked about
have, they
that.
don't have to be mowed, and, it's stormwater prevention, so it all makes sense,
If you go down Temple Street and keep going down on the right, there's a huge beaver deceiver there. They talk about beaver deceivers. You ever
Okay,
seen one
yeah.
before?
I saw pictures,
Yeah, you can actually see one, it's working unbelievable. Keep
Oh,
going
cool.
down,
oh, cool,
yeah, right before you get, it'll almost be water on both sides, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then before you get to the first house, I don't know, 2 mile, mile down?
It's Foster Brook that goes through
Yeah.
there.
You can see it, and it's
Okay.
pretty cool
okay,
to see it, so just, you learn about it, but.
yeah. It's also great to, network with other people from other towns and learn, and just listen to what their reactions are in the classes, and then you're either, wow, at least we don't have that problem.
For sure.
Or, oh, I'm gonna take notes on that, and just in case that comes up here, yeah.
I just wanna also thank everybody for taking their Saturday and, kind of donating their time to conservation, I really appreciate that. We learn a lot, and take a lot out of it, do the best we can for the city of Gardner, so thank you. Upcoming meetings, the 24th is gonna be busy, and then our next meeting after that will be April 14th. Anybody have any further new business?
I have a question about the nature trail in the North Central Pathway Nature Trail. Is it done? I kind of went through the cemetery today, and the city was doing some tree work, so I couldn't get near the nature trail, but it didn't look like the fence is up. Is the fence up?
No, they're waiting till, favorable conditions to put the top coat of the segment that's under the current construction phase, and then also implement the fencing. So
Okay.
it'll be a little while yet, but hopefully soon.
Actually, now that you say that, can you see where we can get more of these made?
Oh, commission ID tags.
Yeah, because, remember we got these, were you here, David, when we got these?
Yeah.
When Craig said they were trimming trees,
Like 10 years ago.
yeah, We'll see if we can get these for the commission members, that way, Corinne, when you do encounter them trimming trees, but you still
I
wanna
could've-
see.
Yeah, I could've.
Yeah,
I just didn't take the time.
yeah, and it helps when we're going on someone's property, they knock on the door, it gives some city ID, so
For sure.
you could do, I forget HR, I think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's HR, yep.
Okay, so just let us know when we can get in there and take pictures, and mine is gotta be 10 to 15 years old, but starting to wear off. That way, you have one too, I know you do.
Yeah, but I think I lost it.
Well, it's,
3 wallets ago or something like that, you know?
Yep. Anybody have anything else? Would someone like to make a motion to end tonight's hearings?
I'll make that motion.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, everybody.